Okay, so this is Kenzie on the left, and then Teri, and then Kiki. And now I know you guys recently lost somebody really important to you to brain cancer. We want to talk a little bit about that?
It was my mom. Sorry.
Okay, I'll do it. It was my grandma, our grandma, her mom, and what she was going to say is that the life expectancy for her, she had brain cancer, and the life expectancy for her to live was 10 to 15 months. And we knew it was going to be a struggle for us, and especially for our grandma. But we knew that she was a trooper, and even though we knew that we didn't have much time left with her, that she was going to be better. And
so she didn't end up living 10 to 15 months, did she?
no, she lived
4.5 months.
4.5 months.
But she had, she was happy the whole time. She reverted sort of back to being a child.
That's cool.
She laughed a lot. She always laughed, but she laughed a lot more.
Yeah.
Anything we said. And her memory was there. Hers was in her left temporal lobe, and she had surgery twice within those 4 months, and came out of both of those like a trooper.
Yeah. She sounds like an amazing woman.
She said the last time before her surgery she wasn't ready to die, and she lasted probably about 6 more weeks after that.
So this brain cancer is so frustrating. I mean, you and I were talking before, and we talked about how they don't know anything. And can you talk a little bit just about the frustration of being diagnosed, or having somebody that you love being diagnosed with a cancer that they just can't do anything about?
She, the last thing she had done, she had never had any headaches, no symptoms. She had taken our youngest, Kenzie, to Legoland for her 9th birthday. Walked all the way around the park with some other grandchildren and my dad. And then she, 2 days later, was in the hospital. My dad thought it might have been like a stroke symptoms. She went in and they said she had a brain mass, and they took her and drove her over by ambulance to the hospital in Tampa. Frustrating because she had no signs. There were no symptoms, and I work in radiology myself, so I know that's usually the case, but this was totally caught off guard. Breast cancer, you can find it when you go have a mammogram. Right. You don't go have MRIs constantly.
Routinely,
you will drive yourself crazy if you think so.
Right.
And I think it's just so scary.
Yeah.
You don't know when what's gonna happen, and you don't know what is coming your way. And
it's just so true. It is. It's like a freight train.
Yeah. Some things could be better, and some things could be just totally horrifying.
So if this just, if they knew more about this cancer, if there was more research, there hasn't been a lot of enough research on this cancer. I mean, I guess it might have changed. Your grandmother, your Meemaw, she was your Meemaw, right? She was so important to you. If they could have cured it, what would that have meant to you guys?
The world. I mean, she was so special to us. I mean, we have lost both our grandmas, but I think this one was more of a struggle, and it was more hard. It was harder for us because our other grandma, it was unexpected, really.
Sure.
But this one, we had just been waiting for this moment, and we knew it was going to come sooner or later.
Right.
We were there we knew the normalcy, and then we went quickly to a deterioration, and then we never got back to that normal. With my husband's mother, who passed away suddenly also, she just passed. And so I've often wondered what would be the easiest way to just go, or, end up like this. But I had time to do things I had never done or say to her.
Right.
It's not always that good, though.
No.
I mean, that's not a good thing often, just to see her struggle, or anybody.
And it was hard to see her because she was always smiles, and she'd talk to my mom every single day, like before my mom went to work, and when she was coming home, so it was really hard.
It's a huge hole in your life, Teri. I'm so sorry.
And I think it was really, really hard for my aunt because she I don't. She didn't talk.
She keeps her stuff inside.
Yeah.
She doesn't talk about it. She keeps stuff inside.
But
That's your sister, right,
Mhm.
Teri?
But when she passed away, when my grandma passed away, I just looked back at her, and she was just she just knew that it was there. And it was just sad to see. It was really sad to see her because even though she really didn't like show it, I guess, as much as my mom, she
Just your aunt.
you could tell that she was really, really close to my meemaw,
Right.
and she just
It's really hard for her.
felt like she was never going to see her again.
And we talked about it earlier. They say the first thing we had asked, and sort of in a selfish way, is when we asked the surgeon, he said, I told you, he said, it's not like a breast cancer. This will not be cured. We've heard this called the killing machine. We've heard this is the death sentence.
Right.
If you make it 15 months, thank your lucky stars, because it doesn't usually happen.
Right.
Looking back and seeing things, we think maybe she had it a little bit in November of last year, and so she lasted 8 months if it was from the onset to the one. But it's just a hard thing. It's something we've never experienced cancer. This was our first one, so apparently except for my grandfather who had prostate, but that he was older. So, but I guess when we get it big, and that's the one that was given to us. And hopefully it's not a hereditary thing, but it is something always to be, when I forget to do things, I constantly am thinking, do I have a glioblastoma?
Sure. Is there one more thing that you would want to say, whether, about brain cancer, about your mom or grandmother, that for the people who might be watching this?
Well, about brain cancer, it just sucks. I mean, all cancer sucks, but this one's a big one.
Because it doesn't have a cure. I mean, I did a book, and I dedicated to it, and I did it again about cancer, and it was for this young author's thing that we had to do at school. And I just learned that there's so many cancers, and many of them don't have a cure, just like glioblastoma. But this one is a really hard one to get over because it's in your brain. Your brain controls the whole
That's right.
your whole body, and it's just hard to see the people just shut down.
Right.
It's sad too.
And then, unfortunately, since Mom has been diagnosed in February 21st, 2012, we have come across several women, 35-year-old, 70-year-old, another 70-year-old, and your sister, unfortunately, is 47. So that's several women. The books say it's older men in the ages of 70s that get this. This is not true anymore. It's anybody due to cell phone usage or whatever the reason is. We don't know if we did.
My sister never used a cell phone. That's not it.
So it's not that. It's something we don't know. I mean, we've been told it might be something going on in the southeast, but it's happened all over.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just, I mean, there's just not even, you can't even say don't eat, certain things because that's what causes it. You just don't know.
Right.
So there's been a lot of people, and my mother's passed away. Another lady has passed away that got it right after her, and she only had it like 3 months. So it doesn't. I don't know. It's just a horrible thing.
And one last thing, going back to my book, and it's not, and back to what she said, like you can't say don't eat this, don't eat that. Some things to, I listed some. I found another book about like cancer and what you could do to prevent them, and what foods you can eat, and I listed some of those foods, and I had to do an oral presentation, and I just said, okay, some of the good things that we eat that taste good. Keep eating those, just don't be sure that don't eat them every day and say, okay, I'm not going to get breast cancer, I'm not going to get brain cancer just because I'm eating this.
'Cause we just don't really know, do we?
Exactly.
Well, it's cool to see your meemaw and your mom living on and the beautiful women that you all are, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share about this. So thanks a lot.
Thanks, and good luck with your ride.